research projects, people are collecting all different types of data. Transcriptomics, next generation sequencing, array type data, clinical data. And it's actually becoming not large in the big data sense, but large in the complexity and the amount of value that can be gained out of this data. And of course, in the projects more and more, particularly with the Innovative Medicines Initiative and other projects around the world, there's a whole lot of stakeholders, a whole lot of researchers who want to get access to that data. Now, the traditional way to solve that problem is to put in a layer of what we would call data scientists, bioinformaticians, statisticians, who have to then try to answer the requests from all of these individuals and help to process and give them the data they need to make their analysis and go on to write their papers, and so on and so forth. But what we've seen in some of these projects, because of the complexity of the data, the amount that's there, and the quality issues in collecting all this data, it's not so clear and easy as it's depicted here. In fact, typically, these guys in the middle, the data scientists, get quite stressed out and they start to vibrate. Not really, not literally. But that's sort of the problem that we've encountered in some of these projects, and it's the problem that eTrix really set out to kind of solve, or to reduce some of the redundancy in the solutions for this kind of problem. And to do that, what I have depicted here is the data value chain, which goes from the different levels, study design, all the way down to data preservation. And I'm not at the point to go over all of these here right now, but these are all the different things that eTrix as a project has done in terms of tools and then its services over the course of 4.5 years. That's quite a lot, but one of the things we've realized is that this is many, many-fold more of this type of stuff that's happening around Europe, around the world. And so that's one of the reasons of this meeting, is to bring people together to get an overview of that landscape of all the different tools and services and infrastructures that are out there, as well as bringing together translational researchers and data scientists to drive and have a dialogue. These are the three metrics I want to bring up here for this meeting. We had 100 people registered, which that, by the way, was our goal. So we met our goal, probably the last minute, but we met our goal. We have 17 abstracts, and we have about 17 stands, or 7 stands, or booths, or vendors. It can be projects and vendors. The idea for that is that there are tables in one of the rooms to the right where people can meet and talk about different projects. So the idea and the theme of the meeting is discussion and interaction. So one of the things I've charged each of the session chairs with is to ask for questions, but also ask for points. So feel free to, if you don't have a question, to make a point. And the other point to make the discussion is that the chair has the discretion to decide, oh, well, this is a good topic. I want to entertain other points or questions on this topic. So not just who is next in line, but so we can kind of drive a discussion. We've got plenty of time built into the schedule for discussion this morning, this evening, around lunch. So we really want to have more of a discussion feel to this day and tomorrow. And I want to make a comment. This is from one of the eTrix most recent resource meeting. And actually, there's probably about double as many people working on eTrix. Not all everybody attended this meeting. But there's a whole organization that stands behind this meeting. Both eTrix, really, over the past 4.5 years, kind of bringing up these ideas and concepts, as well as the more immediate work that's been done by some of the individuals at BioSci Consulting to organize this meeting. And of course, all the speakers for taking their time and actually putting together the talks and coming to this meeting. So again, to emphasize, the point is discussion. That's what we want to achieve. We want to have that interaction. And so I'm just briefly going over the agenda without going into detail. You should all have it in front of you. But we have 2 sessions today. And the idea is we have a session that's really focused on what maybe a data scientist would like to see, and then one that's probably perhaps more focused on the translational researcher point of view. And then we have this afternoon a facilitated discussion, keynote discussion with Nicholas Bloomberg and Alvaro Agusti, really focusing on what I think is a really interesting topic that sometimes we don't necessarily talk about too much. And that's the difference between open data and really what is more collaborative access to data. And I don't think there's really a right view or there's completely opposing points. But what we want to try to do is have a discussion and understand the different perspectives on this. And that's what we'll try to do this afternoon. And then tomorrow, again, bioinformatics data tools. And then session 4, whatever researchers should know about data. And this will go into a little bit more about some of the ethics and some of the standards and so on and so forth. Last, I just want to point out, we have some parallel training sessions. And I think part of the mark of the agenda, people said, oh, I don't know which one to go to. But we've tried to kind of shift them around a bit so that people can go, mostly over lunchtime. Tomorrow, data curation is more in the evening. This will end, I think, half an hour, 45 minutes early than what's on the schedule. But if you can, try to attend some of these if it's interesting to you. But we're also broadcasting them live, and we're recording them. Which brings me to the last point, how are we promoting this meeting? First of all, for social media, this is the hashtag to use. We're going to try to kind of record minutes and notes in Twitter. I'm going to try to do that on my LinkedIn profile. Please feel free to join in that. As you see also, there are video cameras around the room. We're having every session recorded. And the idea is to bring that back and put them into websites, which you'll learn about through these hashtags, as well as the Matrix website. And so the meeting has more impact and more drive than just today and tomorrow. And hopefully this is sort of a kickoff that we have more and more of these kind of discussions. But I'll stop there in the interest of time. Although one thing I should say is that we have one speaker, Matt Satsangren,